Corey, how long has Facebook really been working on this? We know yesterday was the big reveal, but what was behind it?
By the way, we care about banks out here too. It's an interesting story. But yes, Facebook maybe gets a lot more attention out here because it's seen as something that's really changing things. And Facebook has been working on this very quietly for over a year. They hired some top guys from Google to create a new product. And these guys are working on a number of products when Mark Zuckerberg sort of said, what could we do? Could we do something different here with all the data that we're collecting? And so they've had about 60 engineers working on this for about a year and a half. And it's intriguing stuff because it's a way to mine the data that Facebook itself is gathering. But they took great pains to explain that this has been a very difficult process to come up with something where you could use natural language and gather results from friends and friends of friends and restrict the data to just that.
Well, Corey, on the West Coast, it feels like you love data connecting and collecting, but on the East Coast, we want to know when we're going to see meaningful revenue from the graph search.
Yeah, the West Coast should probably care about that too. I think, I think the excitement about this. I mean, you saw the market. I was talking to some traders this morning, and they were just saying that the market was getting pounded with short orders yesterday on Facebook around the time of this announcement. It's a market phenomenon and doesn't really tell us anything about the business. But I think what we know about this business is Mark Zuckerberg took great pains to say, look, this is a beta test. To the people in this room, I don't even know if we can get all of you on the service today. We're going to try. It may take a while. We don't know how big this can be. We don't know how long we can stretch out the beta test of this program. We want to explain because it's something very different than what we've done before. But he took great pains again to point out that this is a beta test. There's only English language customers. It's 60% of Facebook's I'll say only 60% of Facebook's users. Then again, that's over 600 million people. So a lot of people could get access to this before it goes international. But it's an interesting product and something very different for this company.
Is it really a threat to Google? I mean, Google, everyone uses it.
Yeah, and there's so many Google people at Facebook that I think this, and as I mentioned, this was a project led by former Google engineers. But I think it's something very different than that. It's not going out into the world and gathering all the information that's out there and presenting it. It's also not necessarily something that's helping people find things to buy, which is kind of what marketers see Google searches as. This is more a way of Facebook using data that they're already collecting, maybe hoping to gather a little more data and mining that data. I see this as something that eventually advertisers will go to, that marketers will see a way to find very selected groups of people, the left-handed hedge fund managers in San Francisco, right? I mean, they could be looking for those kinds of really unique groups, something that Google or no other real media does. But I think it's competition in as much as all advertising is competition. It's going to compete with magazines. It's going to compete with newspapers. It's going to compete with, yes, it's going to compete with Google and Yelp. It's going to compete with television. It's a new form of a service that could be interesting for marketers in the future.